My name is Monsieur Alleyne. I am a singer, songwriter, linguophile, and foreign language tutor. In the dark times, they give me light. This is Spice Tongue, one of the 4 tongues of Barbados.
Music is my therapy.
Music helps me ease the stress and relieve depression. Uplift my soul like a resurrection. It's the greatest medication, recommended to the nation for any situation. Music helps me to heal, brother, when life gets hard like steel, brother. Music's what I need, brother, cause it makes me feel better.
Music is my therapy is a song that I came up with after I had a very, I would say one of the most difficult times in my life when me and my ex-fiance, separated. And for me, it was a very dark and very difficult time for me. And music was the only thing that helped me get through that situation. And hence, that's where I got the inspiration for music is my therapy.
Music is therapeutic, that's why I forever use it. Maybe I overdo it, but healing is coming through it. This passion, I never lose it, encouraging you to do it. YouTube is full of music, so why don't you get to it for real?
Music is my therapy for my pain and agony.
You know this is a kid.
Being a bilingual artist, there's lots to experiment with. And for me, as a producer working with people globally or internationally, it tends to open up your attitude towards culture. Now you can collaborate with someone from another part of the world and say, well, look, I have this idea. What do you think about this idea? And then they can bring their thoughts on it in a different perspective from a different part of the world. And that makes it great and unique.
You know this is a kid.
Makes your name feel like it's different. Like Celer. Sounds French. Bacon. There. Enfin. It was so difficult to find. Hello, my name is Sha'na. I am 27 years old and I am a teacher for English as a foreign language. Daniel and I met a couple years ago. We went to the same school together, to BCC, but didn't get the chance to interact. But since then we have connected and we practice our foreign languages together. Okay, so for you, when you started learning French, what was the most challenging word?
I think yogurt.
Yogurt? Okay, so some people may not know what yogurt is in French, so can you say it?
Yaourt.
Yaourt.
I still don't feel like I mastered that yet.
It almost sounds like you're saying out, but with a Y in front of it.
Yaourt.
Yaourt. Yeah.
I don't feel like I master it yet, but I just feel like French people would be like, okay, I know what he's talking about.
Yeah.
So what about you, your journey when you started off learning French? How was it for you?
C'était très intéressant. I started in secondary school. That was my first interaction with French because, of course, in Barbados we study English. Well, of course, English, Spanish first. Spanish first. So, like French, it was like, oh my goodness, this is new. I want to know more. And plus Paris. How about you?
You know, me and French started off with a serious love-hate relationship, you know.
How so? Do tell the story.
When I started French, I didn't understand anything that was going on. And like my grades were like 16% and no higher.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So when did the moment switch where you felt more comfortable?
I don't know, you know, it was a very funny and a very strange situation because as you know, when we start secondary school, you know, you start like, you do French and Spanish together. I was always a Spanish person, doing good in Spanish. But for some reason, when they had to do the what do you call it? The promotion exam. Right. Weirdly, I passed French and failed Spanish.
Oh, wow.
I still don't know how that one work out.
Maybe it was a sign from the universe. Like, you need to study more French. So do you think from that moment you focused more on French than Spanish?
I think it's more that when I got into third form, and I got a different teacher, and then now like what she was teaching, I was able to grasp it. I started doing well, and I was like, I feel like I really like this subject, And then I start, paying more attention to it and getting more into it. And then the school was planning a trip, and I couldn't wait to get on that.
Oh, nice. So where was the trip?
Martinique. That was my first trip to Martinique. And that is when I realized I didn't know anything.
That happens.
So my experience in France was like very interesting because from beginning when I went to the airport, I remember I gave the immigration, my officer, my passport. And he looked at it and it was like, Barbados? These guys didn't even know where Barbados was on the map. And I saw he give it to another person to look at it. Because I don't know if they thought it was fraudulent or what. And then they give me back my passport and then say, you can go. They just asked me about 2 questions. Where are you staying? And for how long? And they told me, you can go. I was like, what? That's it? Because I know usually when you come to the Caribbean islands, you have to fill out an immigration form saying where you're staying, leave a phone number, you leave your address, etc. And they would ask you a couple questions, or there's usually more questions than that. For them to ask me 2 questions and just tell me, go ahead, that was very shocking for me. That was my first very interesting interaction. And I would say like the interaction with people was different because the vast majority of people, when they hear Barbados, they only think Rihanna, or they hear about the beach, etc. And then you have a few ignorant people that think that, we live in the woods, we don't got any electricity. You find some of those people. My experiences in France was pretty positive. I would say some of the most warmest people I ever met there were the Arabs. Whenever you're going to an Arab restaurant, I think where I went was a crepe shop. And they would interact with you, make jokes to you, and try to find out where you're from, and find out more about your country and like what you do, etc. I found that when I go to the restaurants of the Arabs, So that was a pretty positive experience. Even the other black people from there, people like me that I can identify with, were pretty cool. Other persons are always just on the go, especially when you're in Paris. It's always a rush. As a bilingual Bajan and as an artist, I've realized how important learning a language is. Language is associated with culture, and culture presents different ways of viewing life, which impacts music in a very positive way. It can help give you different concepts for the songs that you write, etc., and also open opportunities to work with other artists. Merci pour regarder. Je m'appelle Daniel et je vous donne du conseil. Thank you for watching. My name is Daniel and I'm giving you some advice. Follow me on Instagram, Facebook, Spotify, and iTunes at Monsieur Alleyne.
Mi reina, mi reina, mi reina, mi reina, mi reina, mi reina, Latina, Latina, Latina.